Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, I'm the King, and welcome back to the channel. I hope you're all having an amazing day, staying healthy out there. Today, we are talking about some lackluster perks in Dead by Daylight, perks that really haven't changed all too much since the game initially released, and can really use in 2020 overhaul. I've seen Rework made an amazing video about this, talking about some of the perks he would change and what he would do about 6 months ago. I'll leave those down below, you guys are free to check them out, but I wanted to give my own take on some of these cool perks and just give some ideas on what I would change. We're not going to go over every single perk on Survivor and Killer. Maybe if this video does well, we will separate the two and make those videos, but today we're focusing on 6 perks in total, 3 Survivor, 3 Killer, and how we can rework them and make them better. Before we jump on into this, today is day 15 of our partner push. We're halfway there, and it is absolutely overwhelming the amount of support you guys have been showing me, but there's still a lot of people here that watch these videos that don't know about my stream or haven't tuned in yet. So guys, please, if you are interested in watching or coming out just to show some support, the link will be on screen right now and in the description. We just see the 75 average, and we've been killing it throughout the days, and I can't thank you guys enough. In fact, we're going to be doing some giveaways coming here soon, some really big giveaways with a bunch of Auric cells and things like that, so you don't want to miss it. So make sure you are following that Twitch account for more information. With that out of the way, let's talk about these perks, how we can make them better. I want you guys in the comments as well to leave a perk down below you think needs to change and how you guys would change it for 2020. So let's start off on the list. I'm going to read my bullet points. The first perk we have on the list is Insidious. So we're all familiar with what Insidious does. By standing still for 4, 3, or 2 seconds, you reduce your terror radius to 0 and thus become stealthy until you move or act again. This perk is really used for Leatherface when he's camping the basement or just for camping in general. There's no other reason to use this perk. It is absolutely trash, right? So I gave it a little bit of a 2020 overhaul. Obviously, before I jump on into all these changes, I didn't think about implications or anything like that. I try to put it to the best of the ability. I didn't think about synergy with other perks or anything like that. This is just my theories and my ideas. So it's just brainstorming right now. So there's probably going to be a lot of flaws. Just want to put that disclaimer out before we jump on into it. So Insidious, this is what I came up with. By standing still for 5, 4, or 3 seconds, you reduce your terror radius to 0, and it will pre-exist for 10 seconds after moving. This effect will give you the undetectable status effect. Once you start a chase or you hit a survivor, this status will go away. You can only go into stealth mode when you are 10 meters away from a survivor. In addition, if you enter the proximity of a hooked survivor while in stealth, it will automatically go away. So this will give you a little bit of mind game potential. So for example, if you hear someone working on a generator in the killer shack, or you see them with barbecue, you can stand 10 meters away, reduce your heartbeat to 0, and sneak up on them with that 10 seconds. Pull them off to gen, things like that. It doesn't interfere with any of the killer's powers, such as a pig or Ghostface, because it's only 10 seconds long. And the major problem with Insidious right now is that people face camp with the perk, right? They camp, they face camp, they hide around a tree with Insidious. If you are in proximity of a hooked survivor, you cannot get this effect. Sounds good in my books to me. Let's move on to the next killer perk, Monstrous Shrine, which I'm sure you guys know, again, does nothing. The basement hooks are granted the following bonuses: 3, 6, 9 faster entity progression, 5, 10, 15 increased difficulty to attempt to escape, 3, 6, 9 increased penalty for fails. It's very lackluster. You get someone in the basement, they're either dead or alive depending on what killer you are. You know, the perk isn't really used all that often. So here is the solution that I came up with. I really like the idea of this, but I think if this actually worked on every single hook, it would be better. For each survivor hooked on any hooks, the rate of death occurs faster when you are 24 meters away from the hooked players. For 1, 2, or 3 survivors hooked, it will take 10, 15, and 25% more. Think about it similar to Freddy's power. The more people asleep, the faster your power recharges. The more people on the hook, the faster they start dying. And remember, you have to be 24 meters away, so this prevents camping in that sense. So you won't be able to camp someone. And remember, if you are camping just one person, all of this will be negated. So you have to be away from the hooked survivors. So if you just walk by for a split second, it won't affect it. Obviously, you have to be there for more than maybe like 1 or 2 seconds. And the more people hooked, the faster they start dying. So it puts more pressure on the survivors to get the saves, or else their teammates will go into second life really quickly. A lot of people absolutely love waiting to the last second to pull someone off and work on gens instead. This will give a little bit more gameplay sense and playability. I think it would be really nice. Next on the list is Territorial Imperative, and we know, again, this is a perk that is only used for basement camping realistically, and you don't really see it all too often. Survivors' auras are revealed to you for 3 seconds when they enter the basement, and you are more than 32 meters away from the basement entrance. Super lackluster, has nothing going on with it. You just see the auras when someone's in the basement, and if you're Leatherface or a Huntress with like airy head or something, you'll kill them pretty quickly. So here's a change that I put, a simple but yet effective change. If you are 32 meters away and the survivor enters the basement, their aura is revealed to you for 3 seconds, and they gain the exposed status effect for 40, 50, and 60 seconds. This has a cooldown of 40, 50, 60 seconds. So essentially, if someone goes in the basement, boom, you see them, boom, exposed. So they're going to be really terrified to go into that basement again, and I think that perk works out pretty well. In addition to this will have amazing synergy with some of the other perks, and you can potentially make a one-shot build with all of this. I think it's really nice, and I'll have a big change to gameplay and basement plays with it. Next, we're going over to some survivor perks. The first one on the list is Boil Over. Ooh, Boil Over. I'm essentially making this perk what it should have been. So, your struggle effects on the killer are increased by 20, 50, and 75%. You obscure the killer's ability to the auras of hooks when you are within a 10, 12, and 14 meters. Simply, I took these effects, copied and pasted, and added one more effect. You wiggle 10, 15, 25% faster. Boom. Easy. Settled. You know, obviously, if you run this with Breakout and Saboteur and you're in a Swift, it's going to be really easy to get those wiggle outs, but I think it's quite nice. I think it's a buff that the perk needs, and it's what the perk should have been. Everybody, when they seen Boil Over, they thought, I'm going to wiggle out faster, and with Breakout, it was the same thing. We'll wiggle out faster, and it just never happened. If this perk does become excessive, you always can make it where Breakout doesn't actually affect it, so it doesn't stack together. So Breakout won't be able, the same way how Breakout doesn't work with itself, it wouldn't work with this perk as well. One of them will be pick and choose whichever one has the higher wiggle out, which in this case would be the new Boil Over. Pretty standard build. I think it's quite nice. Moving on, we have Lightweight. Now, Lightweight was a perk that worked very well back in the days when killers couldn't really track survivors, and you could set this up for mind games and things like that. It was absolutely amazing. Right now, it says scratch marks stay visible for 1, 2, 3 seconds less than normal. You know, it's not hard to find survivors now. Once you lock eyes on survivors, that's pretty much it. However, if we subtly buff this perk just a tiny bit, it becomes quite good. Here's what I came up with. Scratch marks stay visible 3, 4, 5 seconds less than normal. So you're pretty much immediately getting rid of your scratch marks really quickly. You know, as soon as you run, by the time you just like go from 1 meter to 2 meters, the scratch marks will already be disappearing. In addition to this, you make less noise and grunts when running, and all sound when you're on the floor bleeding out is negated. I think that is beautiful. Think about how many times you play against a spirit or something like that. You're running and you're not injured, or maybe you are injured and you have Iron Will, but they hear your foot noises and they know that you're going whatever way. This perk will negate that. You will run, they won't hear you at all. And if you're on the floor, it will do what Iron Will doesn't, and it'll make it so that there's no sound at all. I think this would be a meta perk if they changed this, and you could combine this with Iron Will, use Urban Evasion or something, I don't know, Spine Chill, and become the ultimate stealthy player. A beautiful buff to Lightweight, and I think that would work very well. Which takes us into our last survivor perk on the list, the one that probably needs the most tweaks, No Miller. You are affected by the broken status effect for the duration of the trial. You do not have pools of blood. Grunts and pains on injuries are reduced by 0, 25, 50 at any time. Grants you the ability to fully recover from the dying state. So here is what I changed. You start the trial healthy. Once you're injured, you gain the broken status effect, but the killer does not get an icon indicator. Grunts of pain are reduced by 0, 25, 50 at any time, and it grants you the ability to recover from the dying state. Simple, but effective. You know, you start the trial healthy, take a smack, you go on the floor, killer doesn't know you have it, and they will never know that you have no Miller. You won't be able to heal for the rest of the match, just the same way it normally works, and that's essentially it. That's a buff to No Miller that we've been needing since day one. Having some of these perks being overhauled for 2020 is a great addition that I think they should add on into the game. We've seen some of the maps in the beta phase that just got reworked, so why not the perks as well? Previously, we had a major patch that buffed some of these perks, and I think it's about time that we get another one, maybe in the next chapter if they have the times on their hands. That's gonna wrap it up for this video. I hope you guys did enjoy. Let me know some of the perks you guys would like to change or buff or nerf. Let me know down in the comments below. I'd love to hear. Remember, we're also streaming on Twitch, pushing for partner 15 days in, so please come on out. And thank you guys for all the support. As always, I'm the king. I tip my crown to you guys, and we'll see you in the fog. Take care.